Welcome to Rural Beat, where we explore the lives of our friends and neighbors in rural Alaska. Today we travel to Petersburg to honor the legacy of Alaska's civil rights leader, Elizabeth Peratrovich. With us to share her exciting story of heroism is rural correspondent and Yupik storyteller, Jack Dalton.
Petersburg is a quaint coastal fishing village with proud ties to the Scandinavian traditions of seafaring and colonialist expansion. It was here that the Tlingit people maintained a summer fish camp for over 2,000 years before their land was stolen from them in a fraudulent real estate transaction.
A fraudulent real estate transaction?
Pat, a good rule of thumb. If someone is selling you an entire nation for pennies on the acre, it's a good bet they don't own it. By 1911, when Elizabeth Wanamaker was born in Petersburg, her people had become second-class citizens, unwelcome on the land they had inhabited for thousands of years, their culture and history whitewashed by the tide of explorers, missionaries, and settlers.
Could you tell us more about Elizabeth Peratrovich?
Pat, I'm trying to set the scene for you. Let it sink in. You do realize what it would have been like at that time, if you and I were friends back then, and if we wanted to grab a bite at the Red Dog back when it was a real Alaskan saloon, there would have been a sign stating, "No dogs and natives allowed." Yes, Pat, the natives were below the dogs. That means you would have to tie your dog and your native friend to the post outside.
Jack, I don't think anyone expected a native to be tied up outside of a saloon.
Which would probably be just fine with me, Pat, seeing as I'd probably get along better with your dog.
I don't have a dog.
You should get one, Pat. You're still allowed to tie them up, keep them from attending schools, getting a master's degree in communication, and replacing you because they are better informed, do accurate research, and can actually pronounce the English language. Eventually, the Anti-Discrimination Act was passed in 1945 and signed into law by Territorial Governor Ernest Gruening.
Okay, but you didn't really talk about Elizabeth Peratrovich and her amazing story. I mean, maybe you could tell us a little bit more about her role in all of this.
If you don't already know the full story of Elizabeth Peratrovich, how can you possibly call yourself an Alaskan, Pat? In 1988, the Alaska State Legislature named February 16th Elizabeth Peratrovich Day, in recognition of her courageous, unceasing efforts to eliminate discrimination and bring about equal rights for all Alaskans. Except the gays. Reporting from Ganti Yachsidi Tlingit Ani, this is Jack Dalton. Doichlu.
Okay, Jack Dalton reporting from Petersburg, and we'll be right back after these messages. Thank you for joining us.